Yo, 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 your boy So Sick Nash fan is back. And this time we got Nightmare Geese. Now, sorry for the delays. This has been a busy weekend. And now that we have Nightmare Geese, your boy has actually sat down. And you know, it's guide time, man. We gotta break this character down. Now, my thoughts, I did play this character on stream and took him to Legendary Wolf. It took me about like 3 to 4 hours to do that. I think he is a very strong character, but he is like kind of awkward, and he's going to benefit people that actually want to play Geese, that want to be like Geese specialists. I think he's going to benefit them. I think his neutral is really good. He does a lot of damage. So he has a lot of good things going for him. So with that being said, let's get into this man's normals. Now, his normals, I'm not gonna lie, they're pretty stubby and they don't really stand out like most of the characters I've done guides for. But his stand B does stand out to me because it has a lot of range and it's special cancelable, and that's always really good when you have a far normal that is special cancelable, i.e. how Jaehoon does not. Please buff my man Jaehoon. But anyway, with Geese, I would say his Far B, definitely one of the best normals in general, because, you know, he can do full chains into special moves, so that's really, really good. His other normal is a command normal, so his A plus C, light plus heavy punch. This normal is actually kind of ridiculous because the thing about it, it's 8 frames. It makes him go forward, and it can easily like counter poke or whiff punish something. So think of it like a Chun-Li like back fierce in a fighting game that you play, where Chun-Li's back fierce is just like omega powerful. It kind of feels like that, but it's an advancing normal, so it's like really good. So like, let's say Rock like whiffs, you get a immediate wild punish, and that's like really powerful because, you know, an 8 frame button that you could just press and hit things is like super powerful. Because the thing about him, his range normals are slow. Like, that's a 13 frame stand C, and his stand D is 15 frames. Now, it does lunge him far, and you can actually Kara cancel off of it with a couple of moves. But the principle of this is his far normals are very slow. When you look in comparison, Rock has a 9 frame, and Rock has a 10 frame. You see what I mean? Versus a 13 and a 15. So he has very, very slow normals. And that's one of the things I did not like when I was playing him from a far distance. Like, whiff punishing somebody was very annoying. Now, he can do it. Like, if somebody whiffs, he can stand outside of this range and hit them with the stand C. But the thing about it is, like, you really got to be on point with your reactions to do that because of how slow the normal is. Same thing with stand D. It's going to be a certain range that he's going to be able to swing that and get those juicy counter hits. But primarily, I would say you would want to prioritize Palm as one of your wild punishes, because you get the Palm from like this distance, and then you can do a follow-up combo, right? So I think that that's really good, and that should be the primary way you want to like structure your like whiff punishment offense. Now we talk about close normals. That's the +2, +3, which those are like really good. Like I said, he can chain and still special cancel things, which is nice to have. Stand C -2, stand D -3, but of course these can be feinted. +3 right there, +2 right there, -2 right there. So he has a lot of like pretty good plus frames with his like close stand B and close stand A. And of course you can chain, so you could do something like stand A, stand A, stand B, stuff like that, just to get some good pressure going. So he's gonna have very, very standard pressure, just like most of the cast. But the thing about Geese is his special moves. That's what we all came here to see, the special moves of Geese. Now, he is really, really good at controlling the neutral pacing, because his projectile is like really good. As you see, it's a huge splash, like radius, like right there. That is double Reppuken. Of course, that would be like anti-fireball. So if that's coming at me, boom, boom, I could just shoot it right back. So that's going to be very, very strong. But guess what, man? I couldn't believe it when I first did it, but like, look at this. This EX projectile is definitely one of the best EX projectiles in the game. So imagine if we still had hard knockdowns, bro. Like, this character would actually be insane off of that EX. But his EX is really fast, like coming in at 18 frames, and it just goes across the screen instantly, right? So it's very hard to JD, it's hard to counter in general. So that is going to be a very, very strong tool of Geese, having that EX projectile that just disrupts the whole flow of the neutral. Just like that. I just got a punish and a knockdown. So that's really good. But he also comes with his traditional air fireball, which can just cover different angles. He can just shut down your opponent's neutral approach. Because if my opponent is on the ground shooting fireballs, I can shoot that. You see how I just wall punished him? And he's going to have to deal with that in the match, because these fireballs are very disruptive and they're really hard to stop, and you never know what angle he's going to come down at with the fireball. On top of, he can actually break the fireball in the air, as you see with this hop, this extended hop. Looks like a it looks like a double jump actually. But the thing about this is it's just to fake out the fireball. So like, if I'm jumping at my opponent and shooting a fireball and then I jump, do nothing, they might hesitate, they might jump, they might, you know, try to dash up. It's a lot of things that you can kind of bait out for your opponent to try to do to hit you. So that's like really, really strong. On top of, he can still do an action with a fireball. So I can do that and then still shoot a fireball. So that makes the mind game of him shooting projectiles like really, really hard to deal with in general. On top of, you can shoot the EX projectile as well, which is like super good, because if you hit them just right, you can actually just do a full combo route. Just depends on how it hits, where it hits, how low it hits, etc., etc. So his neutral, as you see already, is really strong, and it's kind of hard to catch him because his fireballs are like pretty powerful, I would say. Now, he does have a Stomp special move that is -2 on block. So you can use it in block strings for a little bit of block pressure, because it is -2. So then you could just JD after if the opponent is going to take their turn, and you can try to get a little guard cancel going, which would be good. The heavier version is actually +3, meaning he does have a crouching C that is 8 frames, which means that he's going to be able to beat out 5-frame mashers all day, every day. So he's going to easily beat out a 5-frame masher. So like a Rock or like a Terry that's going to hit that crouching A, they would immediately get counter hit. So I would show you how that looks so you can see that your boy is not capping. So I'm going to do this. Bam, counter hit. Remember, he's on crouch jab, so he's going to immediately crouch jab right there. So yes, that is really good, because it reminds me kind of like of a Nakali Stomp. If you played Street Fighter 5, just kind of like the mind games, and like you do the Stomp, get plus frames, and you can make it media on people's wake up and get even more plus frames than a +3. So that's like really good. And if they're in the air, it spikes them to the ground. So like, if you combo into it, it'll like spike them to the ground like this. It'll spike them to the ground and they can roll. Now, there is a property on this Stomp. Now, there's a property where you can actually spike them to the ground and get a like a quick hard knockdown that if you don't act immediately, they can roll. But if you act immediately, you can actually pick them up off the ground, which is strong. But I will show that a little later when I go into one of his other special moves that will be comboing with that Stomp. But needless to say, the Stomp is good for some pressure and some combo routes. So that's really good. Then we are going to talk about the counter. Everybody knows Geese for the counters, right? Now, with the counter, he's going to have a like high to mid counter. Then he's going to have his low counter. And then, of course, he's going to have an EX counter that still only counters highs and mids. It does not counter lows. So I'm going to show you what that's going to look like. So he's just going to toss you over his head. Boom. Now I'm going to make him run up low. And then he just tosses you away. Right? Now I want him to do EX counter. So I can show you what that looks like. Because just like that. He just tosses you away. Now the thing about the EX counter, yes, you can combo off of the EX counter. So if you do it fast enough, you can do like a full combo route. So right here, I'm gonna do EX counter, and then I'm gonna do fireball, and then I'm gonna do super. Bam. All the way to the corner. Good corner carry. And that was a simple combo. He can optimize that way better, but that's just showing you that he can just instantly combo off of his counter if you have the read on the opponent. Just to note, yes, it does counter jump ins. Like if Rock does jump in at me, I can just counter him too. So with Geese not having the best anti-airs outside of like a high dodge, you can also counter. Just, it is risky because if they empty jump and you know, commit the counter, you're going to get wall punish. So be mindful of that because it is a risk, but it is an option. So you should always keep your options available. So next I want to talk about, he has a command grab and he has an OTG grab. Now command grab, like this. So he's going to have this command grab right here. Staple command grab does grant a hard knockdown because of course throws and command grabs do give you a hard knockdown. So that is like really good. The EX grab, same thing, better Oki. But the thing about EX grab is you can still combo it mid-screen if you would like to. Just like that. So you can combo, the command grab mid-screen. You just gotta come off a little bit of meter to do that, and then you can do fireball into his DP special move and get a full combo. And then he is going to have OTG grab. Now both of these can be card canceled. Like I said before, you can card cancel these off of standee. So he's going to have this OTG grab. Now back to the Stomp that I was talking about earlier. He can OTG grab you off the ground like this. Like that. That is guaranteed. If you do that fast enough, that is a guaranteed situation you cannot roll out of or anything. It is just a guaranteed OTG. You have to hold the Stomp though to get that in the juggle. Because if you just do Stomp and you don't hold the button, like it's not going to... the juggle is not going to be proper. You're not going to get that hard knockdown state for you to grab. They're going to be able to roll. So make sure you hold that kick, and if you do that, then you could just OTG grab. Now with the EX, you can also OTG grab into a full combo, because the only difference is that one just gives you a knockdown. You can just do OTG grab into like fireball into super. So you do have that in your arsenal as well. You're not just limited to OTG nothing. But again, when you do it, you have to hold the input. So I'll show you. And just like that, 516, a lot of damage for a pretty easy combo route. So that is how his command grab and his OTG grab are going to work. Now let me talk about his uppercut move. This move, as you've seen, Rock does have this move as well. This move is good, especially on block. Let me show the on block situation. Because the light version is neutral and the heavier version is +7. But, and as you see, heavier version is an overhead. So that's really good. Light is not an overhead. Heavier version is an overhead. As you see, that's +7. That's ridiculous. But if you stand block it, the frame data alters, because now it's only -2. And now it's only +3. So when you're fighting against Geese, you definitely want to make sure that you are stand blocking versus crouch blocking these moves. Because for one, this is an overhead. So you definitely want to stand block that anyway. But +3 is like super powerful in general. So just keep in mind that these moves right here they can also like beat throws and stuff. Like if somebody's throw teching, you could use it as a shimmy, but I would rather prefer you to just jump in on top of somebody. But it is a good move to alter, and you can break these attacks like that. So you can create a mind game and somebody's waiting on it, then you can like throw them. So I think that that's like really, really powerful just in general to like throw off your timing and then just throw them. I think that that's pretty strong. So with that being said, the EX version, same thing. You're gonna be using generally that one in combos because it you know, bounces back to the ground like I showed the combo route before, or you do something like this. Then you could just Rage and Storm. So pretty good plus frames that you can get off of that on block. And if it hits, you could just keep your offense going, just like how Rock is already doing. Now, last but not least, I would talk about his Rekka series, Quarter Circle Back. So he has a couple of different follow-ups off of this. He has your staple. If you just press A again, it's gonna knock you down. If you press C, he keeps you standing with a palm attack. Now this palm attack can be charged. And right there you saw it's like +5. Now on block, if you do this, it is -5. But charged is -3. So you can throw off your opponent's timing with that move. So like if your opponent thinks that you're, you know, done or not going to commit, you charge the punch and kind of like let it go at different timings. And then hit your opponent for trying to move or anything. And then when you hit them, you'll be, you know, advantageous. And it leaves you standing, so it's pretty cool. Then he's going to have a low, which is -3, so that is safe in this game. And then he is going to have an overhead. The overhead is actually minus, but it's overhead. So if they guess right, they can punish you with like a light combo. If you do the EX version though, it's actually -2, but that low is still going to be -3. So throwing in that overhead is like very good just in general, because again, if you do this on whiff, it still comes out. So he can overhead you from a long distance away. Now the low is not going to go as far, but that overhead is going to go like mid-screen. So it's like super good to keep your opponent guessing just in general. And then having the option of even being able to like charge the palm makes his like Rekka series pretty, you know, scary just in general. And I'll show you like how the overhead looks. The overhead when it hits you, put you in that situation, put you in that situation, boom. So the overhead is going to be good. Just to, I wouldn't like abuse it, but I would definitely present it, because once you present it, your opponent is going to be kind of like stuck blocking, and then you can like layer in different things. Like, so his special moves overall are like super strong. I think all of them have like really good value, but that's why I say you're going to have to be a specialist, because he does have a lot of special moves just in general. He has a lot of moves where you're gonna have to master them, know when to use them, know when not to use them, know when to take that risk, and know when not to take that risk. But because his neutral is so good, you're not gonna have to take like too many risks. But like I said, the biggest thing is his anti-air game is not the greatest, but it does exist. And I think that that would be one of his biggest weaknesses, is like the anti-air game. But his damage is just so insane, and just the fireball presence is insane. So I think he's a very, very strong character. Now to talk about supers, he's gonna have two supers, but two unique supers, right? So he's gonna have Raging Storm, and then he's going to have Deadly Raider. Now both of these have hidden inputs that you can do, right, for a little bit more damage. Now there's going to be a pretzel input for the punch super, and then the kick super is going to be like these manual inputs of like different button presses to do a combo. So like feels really, really old school-esque. Now for the pretzel motion, for anybody that is near their keyboard, basically the pretzel motion is going to be down back, half circle back, down forward. But for keyboard purposes, it would be 1, 6, 3, 2, 1, 4, and then 3, which is a crazy input, especially in a modern fighting game, right? But it took me a while to actually get used to this input. I ain't gonna hold you, because it's not the easiest or most comfortable input, but it does exist. So I will show you the damage differential. So right now, that is 220. So let's do the pretzel input. So as you see, I got the pretzel input. It was 240. So just a little bit more damage, but that could be the difference between you winning a match or you losing a match. So I would definitely say at first, don't start off with that input. Don't get discouraged, but you know, work it into your game the more comfortable you get. So with the kick input, like I said, it's going to be the Deadly Rave. And that's 200 damage. Now, if you do the inputs, it's actually a lot more damage. So the inputs for this will be, you're going to do quarter circle back, half circle forward, and then he will go into a whole animation like that, right? So that is the Deadly Rave with the inputs. So what you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to press light punch, light punch, light kick, light kick, light kick, heavy punch, heavy punch, heavy punch, half circle back, heavy punch. Now that's a lot of inputs. So like, let me show you what this looks like. Boom. So you get a little bit more damage, full animation, and just a really cool super for more damage. And it does apply to the other supers as well, like his level 2 supers. But of course, y'all know how I feel about level 2 supers. You're only going to do level 2 supers if they will kill. Do not just go out willy-nilly just doing level 2 supers, because you're going to be pretty mad when they don't kill. So that was a pretzel input for 360. That was a lot of damage. And let me show you the Deadly Rave. So 320, lots of damage. So this character is really cool because, like I said, he feels like old school Geese. Like, you can do all these cool inputs and motions, and just, he feels right at home in Fatal Fury City of the Wolves. So hopefully this guide helps you and just kind of gives you an idea what he can do and how dominant he could potentially be in the current meta, because we are seeing a lot of characters represented right now. So that is super exciting. But what's even more exciting is this month we are going to get Blue Mary, and I'm very hyped for her to try her out, because I've never been the biggest Blue Mary fan, but the way she looks in this game is just like, I gotta play her, I gotta try her out, and I'm pretty hyped to play her, and we get her this month. So who knows when, but your boy will definitely have a Blue Mary guide ASAP. Thank y'all for watching this Nightmare Geese beginner's guide. Until next time, peeps. Peace.